Hey everybody, it's Glenn back in this video with the Marvel Legends Captain America's Civil War Falcon, and as we turn to the side we see the side packaging art. There's Anthony Mackie as the Falcon, styling it out, wearing his goggles, ready to take to the air. And on the packaging back, in air is seemingly how they've posed the action figure. Spoiler, flight display stand to pose him as such not included, and then his bio reads, a defender of justice, Falcon soars into battle armed with his XO7 wings and Red Wing drone, which sounds like a checklist for the accessories he does come with, so let's get into it. Here he is out of packaging, and I think a fair few people have been waiting for him to get some Legends love, yet the 3 3/4 inch one that accompanied the release of the Captain America Winter Soldier movie is years later still haunting discount stores, so I can understand Hasbro's reluctance to release Cap's sidekick, but nonetheless here is Falcon being squeezed out as a Walmart exclusive. All the detail is there in the sculpt at a level you'd want for a movie action figure, however it is a bit let down by the deco, which leaves most of it flat plastic except for some silver for the buckles and whatnot and the costume's red details. That red is good to see as it pays homage to the comic costume seen here in Toy Biz's Marvel Legends Mojo series Falcon from 2006. I guess you could say the lack of deco is compensated for with his accessories, so on his backpack there we get Red Wing. In the comics an actual Hawk he shares a telepathic link with, but as we saw in the Civil War movie it's a robot drone which can be removed from the backpack as if deployed, then we get a pack-in of Red Wing fully deployed. He's cute, go ahead, pet him. But Red Wing back in place and let's try on his wings, which each have 2 pegs to secure them to this backpack, then backpack and wings in place, and I think he looks pretty freaking awesome, even in spite of the difference in scale. Certainly puts his 3 3/4 inch incarnation to shame with its whopping wingspan. And whopping, I ain't lying, breaking out the tape measure, he has a wingspan of about 12 inches. Certainly not as flashy as his wings, but taking a closer look at the head sculpt, and I think it's a pretty decent likeness to the actor. The glossy deco of the red on the goggles conveys the gloss of actual lenses, and those goggles are sculpted on there. Sure, a head sculpt without them would have been cool too, but if he is just coming with one head sculpt, I'd rather it be this one which sees him goggled and as such ready for action. I'm just noticing in the sculpt that on both sides from the goggles extending into his ears is what I assume are earpieces for communication, but if they're not going to budget for painting them, then at least have the foresight not to sculpt them in the first place. Now looking at articulation, his head rotates side to side, then he has a neck hinge so he can bury his chin into his chest, yet he's not able to look up to the same degree. Would be good if he could look up just a bit more for a very dynamic flight pose. Then at the shoulder his arms rotate and they hinge up this far, and then there's upper arm rotation followed by a double jointed elbow. Then at the wrists his hands rotate and they're hinged, moving down and also up. He has waist rotation and then an ab crunch, which crunches this, well, that's not particularly far forward, and yeah, it doesn't move far back either. At the hips his legs move out to the side this far, then they move this far forward, and they don't really move back. There's upper leg rotation followed by a double jointed knee. Then at the ankles his feet are hinged, moving backwards. Well, they don't really move forwards, but they have an ankle rocker pivot that I love, with this being his widest stance possible, still with both feet flat on the floor. Here is Falcon sandwiched in between the battle-damaged Captain America and Iron Man from the Civil War triple pack that also came with Spider-Man. Good to fill out the MCU ranks with Falcon. Now with him checked off the list, hey Hasbro, how about a Vision? Here I've pegged the wings to the other side of the backpack. This way they are more inclined to fall off, yet with his wings having a curvature, it does present a slightly different option for display. So all things considered, and I love this Falcon. It is all about the wings though, but then really that's the story of the character really, isn't it? Without them, he's just a guy. Beyond the lack of deco, any other complaints I have are accessory based. His hands are clearly posed to hold guns, yeah, it's a bring your own to the party thing. And how cool would it have been if he had come with a flight display stand? But he already comes with way more accessories than we get with most Legends, so instead I should just shut up and sit back and take in the glory of those wings. Anyway, if you missed my look at the X-Men Legends Kitty Pryde, click the video on the left. Alternatively, stay tuned as Cap's other boyfriend boyfriend will be completing the love triangle. And please give this video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you all next time.